Oren. Oren's the kind of guy who always acts like he's in control. Headphones on, chill vibe, like nothing ever bothers him. But behind that laid-back look, he's constantly overthinking, analyzing people, situations, outcomes. Music isn't just background noise for him, it's his escape, the one thing he can't manipulate. Oren's real talent isn't charm or smarts, it's knowing exactly what people want to hear. Whether it's a lie or the brutal truth, he delivers it with a smile. But the question is, does anyone really know the real Oren, or is he just another track on repeat? Musical type, kick drum. Raddy. Raddy doesn't do small talk. His presence speaks louder than words. Sharp horns, sharper glare, and an attitude that hits harder than his punches. He's not angry for the sake of it. He's fueled by a past he refuses to talk about. Every scar is a story he'd rather leave untold. Every fight a distraction from the one battle he can't win. Forgiving himself. Raddy rides fast, lifts heavy, and keeps his circles small because vulnerability feels like weakness. But deep down, he's not chasing revenge. He's chasing peace. And it's the one thing he can't outrun. Musical type, snare. Hatter. Hatter's the quiet one in the room, the guy you'd overlook, until you realize he's been observing everything. His emotionless face isn't a mask, it's who he is. Detached, calculating, like he's living in his own world where feelings are liabilities. But here's the twist. Hatter isn't heartless. He feels too much, so much that it overwhelms him. That's why he hides behind blank stares and monotone words. His biggest fear? That if he ever lets it all out, there won't be anything left to hold on to. So he keeps the lid on tight, hoping no one notices the pressure building underneath. Musical type, ride cymbal. Funbot. Funbot wasn't built to feel emotions, but somewhere along the way, he glitched. Now, he's obsessed with becoming the life of the party, even though he doesn't really understand what that means. His smile? Permanently programmed. His jokes? A mix of outdated memes and random facts. But beneath the forced cheer, Funbot's just trying to figure out what it means to be real. He hits the gym not to get stronger, but to feel something. Anything. Because deep down, he knows that no matter how loud the music gets, the silence always catches up. Musical type, dancing robot. Vineria. Vineria thrives on attention, but not in the way you'd think. It's not about the compliments or gifts, it's about control. She knows how to make people orbit around her like she's the sun, effortlessly charming with a smile that disarms and distracts. But behind that perfect image is someone terrified of being alone. She collects admirers like trophies, each one a reminder that she matters. But the truth? The person she really wants validation from is herself, and that's the hardest one to impress. Musical type, rattle. Felix. Felix is the embodiment of whatever. Always half asleep, half bothered, and fully uninterested. Or so it seems. But apathy is his armor. Life's let him down too many times, so he stopped caring before it could disappoint him again. He's sharp though, watching, analyzing, understanding more than he lets on. The thing is, Felix isn't afraid to feel. He's afraid that if he starts, he won't know how to stop. So he keeps it simple. Few words, fewer attachments, and a wall no one's ever managed to climb. Musical type, bass. Brud. Brud has that "don't mess with me" vibe, but not because he's trying to be tough. It's just who he is. A former soldier, he's seen more than he cares to admit, and it shows in the way he carries himself. Rigid, controlled, always on edge. He doesn't do small talk, doesn't do parties, and definitely doesn't do feelings. But here's the thing. Brud isn't heartless. He's just tired. Tired of pretending he's fine, tired of the noise in his head, and most of all, tired of being the guy who always has to be strong. Musical type, street musician. Garnold. Garnold's a robot, but he's more human than most people. He's got this glitch, one that makes him crave connection. Not just data or code, but real, messy, complicated relationships. The problem? No one takes him seriously. To them, he's just a machine with fancy wiring. But Garnold feels everything: loneliness, frustration, even love. He'll crack jokes, play it cool, but deep down he's terrified that he'll never be more than metal and circuits. He wants to prove he's more than what he was programmed to be. The question is, to who? Musical type, arpeggio synthesizer. Qwazey. Qwazey is unpredictable, like flip a coin and hope for the best, unpredictable. One minute he's calm, the next he's climbing a wall just because he can. People think he's just hyper or weird, but Qwazey's brain doesn't have an off switch. It's like static noise that never fades, so he keeps moving to drown it out. He's not looking for attention, he's looking for control, trying to manage chaos with more chaos. But every now and then, when no one's watching, he just sits quietly. Because even the wildest minds need a break sometimes. Musical type, drum set. Sky. Sky's the definition of effortless cool. Always calm, always collected, like life's just a casual stroll. He's the type who never tries too hard, but somehow everything falls into place for him. Fast cars, smooth talks, perfect timing. It's like he's got a cheat code for life. But here's the catch. Sky's biggest fear is losing control. That's why he acts so laid back. Because if he ever lets the cracks show, he's afraid the whole facade will crumble. He's not running from failure, he's running from the possibility that he actually cares. Musical type, bells. Sunny. Sunny's got the kind of energy that feels like a permanent sugar rush. Always bright, always smiling. But that smile, it's not just for show. Sunny genuinely believes in the power of positivity, not because life's been easy, but because it hasn't. He learned the hard way that if you don't bring your own light, no one's gonna do it for you. Behind the cheerful face is someone who's fought battles you'd never guess, choosing joy not as a reaction but as a rebellion. Because sometimes the brightest people are the ones who face the darkest skies. Musical type, piano. Durple. Durple is chaos wrapped in purple scales. He doesn't follow rules, not because he's a rebel, but because he honestly forgets they exist. His energy is wild, unpredictable, and somehow magnetic. People either love him or can't stand him. There's no in-between. But Durple's not trying to be anything. He just is. No filters, no second-guessing, no pretending. That's his power. In a world obsessed with fitting in, Durple's too busy being unapologetically himself to notice. And maybe that's why he stands out without even trying. Musical type, saxophone. Tree. Tree is the quiet type, but not because he's shy. He's literally rooted in place, which gives him a front row seat to everyone else's chaos. He's seen friendships form, break, and rebuild, all while standing in the same spot. And that's the thing. Tree doesn't need to move to grow. His strength isn't in what he does, but in what he withstands. Storms, seasons, people coming and going. Tree's been through it all. He doesn't give advice often, but when he does, it's the kind that sticks with you, because sometimes staying grounded is the most powerful thing you can do. Musical type, organ, synthesizer. Simon. Simon's got charm, ambition, and a smile that could sell you sand in the desert. But beneath the smooth talk is a guy who's terrified of failure. He's the type who gives 110%, not because he's confident, but because he's scared of what happens if he doesn't. Simon's the master of grand gestures, lavish gifts, big plans, bold moves, but none of it feels real unless he's impressing someone. His biggest fear? That without all the flash, he's not enough. But maybe the people who matter don't need the show. They just need him. Musical type, 8-bit synth. Guitunner. Guitunner isn't just a guy with a guitar, he's a storyteller. His songs aren't about fame or fortune, they're about moments most people overlook. A cracked sidewalk, a stranger's smile, the sound of rain hitting metal. He writes about the things no one talks about, not because he's deep or profound, but because that's how he makes sense of the world. Music isn't his career, it's his therapy. And while he seems laid back, every chord he strums is another thought he couldn't say out loud. Because sometimes the loudest voices come from the quietest hearts. Musical type: electric guitar. Compy. Compy's not your average computer. He's the kind that thinks he's smarter than everyone else. Always cheerful, always grinning, but don't let that friendly face fool you. He's got opinions on everything, and he's not afraid to share them, whether you asked or not. Compy lives for debates, trivia, and proving people wrong with fun facts no one needed. But deep down, beneath all the data and digital confidence, he just wants to be included. Because even the smartest mind gets lonely without someone to talk to. Musical type: singing robot.
If you want to feel a vibe, we surely would. Now the lights are gone and sing with us in 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wenda. Wenda's the kind of person who makes loyalty look easy. She's reliable, grounded, and always the first to show up when someone needs her. But here's the thing, she's so busy being there for everyone else that she forgets to show up for herself. Wenda hides her own struggles behind a calm smile, convinced that vulnerability is a burden. She craves stability, not because she's afraid of chaos, but because she's been through it before. And now, all she really wants is to build something and someone that lasts. Musical type: write your option in the comments. Pinki. Pinki's a whirlwind of energy, charm, and just the right amount of chaos. She lights up every room she walks into, effortlessly stealing the spotlight without even trying. But beneath the bubbly personality is someone who's terrified of being overlooked. Pinki thrives on attention, not out of vanity, but because it makes her feel seen. She'll crack jokes, flash a smile, and play the part perfectly. But when the lights go out and the crowd's gone, she wonders if anyone loves her for more than just the show. Musical type: female choir. Jevin. Jevin's got that I don't care vibe down to a science. Oversized hoodie, deadpan stare, and an attitude that screams indifference. But here's the twist. Jevin actually cares way too much. He just doesn't know how to show it without feeling exposed. He's the type who'll pretend to forget your birthday, but secretly leaves a gift where you'll find it later. His sarcasm, a defense mechanism, his eye rolls, a cover for the fact that he's paying attention to everything. Jevin's not cold. He's just scared that if he lets someone in, they'll realize how soft he really is. Musical type: male choir. Kurovil. Kurovil isn't the monster hiding under your bed. He's the shadow standing in plain sight, the one you swear wasn't there a second ago. Always grinning, always watching like he knows something you don't. And maybe he does. Kurovil doesn't chase his victims. He lets them come to him, drawn in by curiosity they can't resist. His charm is unsettling, like a joke with a punchline you're afraid to hear. But here's the kicker. Kurovil doesn't want to hurt anyone. He just wants to see what happens when fear takes over, because in the end, people scare themselves better than any monster ever could. Musical type: dark synthesizer.